first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by priming my eyes, and I'm going to be using Younique's Glorious Face and Eye Primer. I love this primer because it can be used on the face and the eyes. When it comes to the eyes, you want to make sure that anything that you put on them specifically is made for the eyes. So eye cream, eye primer, and so on, because the skin around your eyes, especially when you get older, is very different than the skin on the rest of your face. And as I've said in other videos, it absorbs product very different than the rest of your face. So you want to use products that are formulated for the eyes. If you use like a regular facial moisturizer on your eye, the contents and so not to use technical terms, but the makeup and how it's formulated for absorption is going to be meant for the face and not particularly around the eyes. Younique has done something really fabulous with this in that it's great for both. So one product, one cost. I love savings, so this is perfect. So I'm just going to, I'm getting down to the bare bones of this. Time to start using another one. I'm just going to smooth it in between my two fingers to warm it up, and then I'm going to apply it all over the lid of my eye and then slightly underneath, because I am going to be lining as well. Then with your ring finger, because it is the finger that exerts the least amount of pressure, it's our weakest finger when it comes to pressure. So when you want to avoid lines and wrinkles, you want to avoid pulling and tugging and a lot of pressure. So with your ring finger, just smooth it in. Making sure you get in your crease, because you want to make sure it's blended well into the crease. If you don't blend it well enough, the product can tend to sit in the crease, and after a while of having makeup on, it'll start to break up because it wasn't blended in to the skin. Okay, and then we're just going to let that dry and let the skin soak it up for a minute. Okay, so now our primer has set in for a minute, and I'm going to go ahead. Some people like to use a base. Some people like to apply a concealer to their eye at this time. I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to start off with a mid-tone color. Your mid-tone should be a shade or two darker than your natural skin tone. I have so many tones going on my face, as you can see. I have rosacea, I have really red skin, I just have a lot of different, I got a lot going on here. But I'm going to use what I like to use as a mid-tone color, what works for me. I'm going to be using a Younique's Moodstruck Addiction Palette number 1. I love this palette. This is our nude palette. Aren't these pretty? And I'm going to be using the shade Elated, and I'm going to be using that as my mid-tone. And I'm just going to take this is a MAC 286 brush, and I'm just going to be using this brush to apply it through my crease area and slightly above. I do have hooded eyes. When you have hooded eyes, and actually my hood is not looking too bad today, you want to go slightly above your natural crease, because your hood is going to obscure your crease. If you're not sure if your eyes are hooded, look straight on into a mirror. If you see very little or none of your mobile lid, that's this area here, then your eyes are hooded. This is the hood here, and as you can see, I'm trying to get it to show on camera, it's a little puffy and it kind of overhangs the mobile lid. This tends to happen, some people are just born with it. This tends to happen more as you get older. So as you age and your skin loses some elasticity, this skin here can tend to kind of start to droop down a little bit and create a hood. So there are some people who are discovering that they have a hood all of a sudden and they didn't know. And that's why some people, when they try to do certain makeup looks that maybe they see on YouTube, and I've even had people say to me, you know, I tried this look and I just can't get it. I'm just not good at makeup. No, it's not that you're not good at makeup. It could just be that the tutorial that you're following, maybe that person just has a different eye shape than you, and hooded eyes are a little bit more challenging to work with. And you just have to understand the principles behind having hooded eyes, and then you can do any makeup look that you want. You just have to recreate it for your eyes. So I'm going to show you that today because my eyes are hooded, so that's how I have to work. Just keep in mind that just because my eyes are hooded, this makeup look will work on anybody. So if you have regular eyes, I hate to say regular, like hooded eyes are irregular, but if you don't have hooded eyes, you can pretty much wear any makeup look. So don't worry about this one, you can wear it. The trick with hooded eyes is you want to look straight on into a mirror. You're just going to have to get used to applying your eyeshadow with your eyes open so that you can see where it's going and you can make sure that it's visible. So look straight on into a mirror, find the spot that you see immediately above the crease. The first spot that you can see is where you're going to place your crease. You're not going to go in your natural crease because if you notice here in my natural crease, if I were to apply shadow in here, my hood's going to come down over it and it's going to hide it. So I'm going to go right here, which is right on the hood above the crease. And that's where this is going to go. I'm going to take it into the crease as well, but it's not going to get seen. I'm going to take it slightly above and create that artificial crease as well. If you have hooded eyes, you'll notice that I'm applying a matte shade. When your eyes are hooded, you want to avoid using shimmery, bright shades on the hood. The reason why is these shimmery shades pick up light, and anything that you add light to, you attract visually. So if you apply shimmery or glittery shades on the hood, that's where people's attention are going to be focused. We don't want the focus to be on the hood. We want the focus to be on the mobile lid. So if you're going to use glimmery, shimmery colors, and you absolutely should because they're pretty and they're fun, use them only on the mobile lid and right underneath the brow to highlight. Don't use it on this area here. Use matte shades on your hood. Okay, so now I've applied my mid-tone and given you that little speech. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be using our Moodstruck Addiction Palette #1 from Younique, but what I also want to show you is I am going to be incorporating another brand. Shocker! And the reason why I'm doing this is I want to show you, because we're true makeup addicts, and true makeup addicts love makeup, all makeup, and I want to show you that you can still use some of your favorite makeup alongside Younique, that they work really well together. So I am going to be using my Jaclyn Hill palette from Morphe. This is one of my favorite palettes, and I want to show you that this works perfectly with my other Younique makeup. So you don't have to, if you're going to buy Younique, you don't have to trash everything that you used to have. I think you're going to find that you love the Younique products, but you can love them with other products that you have already at home. So that's why I'm going to be actually combining these two palettes. I'm not going to lie, I like my Jaclyn Hill palette, if I can open it. This is one of, I'm a spaz when it comes to opening this palette. Okay, I got it open. This is a really well-loved palette. Not gonna lie, I love it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with the Younique Addiction Palette #1. And the brush I'm gonna be using is the Younique. This is our Younique crease brush. I love this brush. It's really great for getting into the crease, but it's also great for doing detailed work in the corner. And if you have hooded eyes, you really need to get used to doing detailed work in the corner, and I'll show you why. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be picking up our shade Chipper. That's this nice brown shade here. Tapping off the excess. And I'm going to take this again right into that artificial crease that I told you about. Find the spot that you first see, and if it helps you, look in the mirror, find the spot, and make a little dot, if that helps. And then we're going to start from the center of the eye, and we're going to work towards the outside and then towards the inside. The reason why is the first place you put your brush down is going to deposit the heaviest amount of pigment. We don't want heavy pigment on the inside corner, especially if you have hooded eyes, because it's going to close your eyes in. So you want the heaviest pigment to be on the outer half of the eye, and then we're going to take in what's left on the brush and bring it towards the inside. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to go towards the outside. Now I'm going to show you a trick for people who are just learning. I'm going to do it this way so that you can see what I'm doing. To avoid, because what you want to do when you have hooded eyes is a lot of the time you have this droop here in the corner. I don't know if you can see mine, but my hood tends to droop. Some people, their hood only runs part of their eye. Mine happens to run along the whole thing, and I have this droop here in the corner. So what you want to do is you want to lift your shadow up towards the brow, towards the tail of the brow, to give your eyes a more open and lifted look. If you go downward, it's going to make your eyes look even heavier and just weigh them down. So lift up. So you can do this by putting a business card. You can use tape. Please use surgical tape. We do not want you ripping your skin off. And this is why I always do my eyes before my foundation, because if you use tape or anything like that, you don't want to rip off your foundation. And also, it's gonna, if you get fallout from applying your shadow, you can just wipe it off and then do your foundation. So take the business card or whatever you're using, you're gonna place it on the outside corner of the eye towards the tail of your brow. And again, going towards the outside corner, but you want to go up towards the brow. So I'm making it smaller on the inside corner and I'm raising it up on the outside corner. It's almost going to give me a winged look. It's also going to give me an indent in my skin from holding this business card. And then I'm also doing the outside corner of my mobile lid. Keep your eyes open for this. I'm closing them on occasion just to make sure that I'm getting everything. The lighting in here is not, it's great for camera work, but it's not great for my makeup. And as you can see, it angled it up. The indent will go away. And then I'm going to do the other side. Again, starting here. I'm going to go towards the outside. Now my hood, you can see the skin is loose, so I'm going to have to pull my skin a little bit. Again, it's another drawback to aging. I have to admit, I'm not as good on this side. I don't know why. I'm right-handed and I just work better on this side than I do this side. I get a little crazy on this side. And the great thing about doing this before you have your foundation on is another alternative to using the card is you can go ahead and apply it and then take a tissue, and I'll show you here. Take a tissue and fold it so that you get this nice edge, and put some makeup remover on that edge, and then just find where you want to wing it up and do that and clean it up. So if you mess up, you can always fix it. It's the great thing about makeup. It's not permanent. You can fix it. Makeup should be fun. We don't have to take it so seriously. Okay, now that I have my edge created there, I can now work in that edge. And I'm just gonna touch this up a little bit. Some of us have more real estate to work with up here, so if you happen to have a really large area here, you can take it up a little bit higher. This is one of the reasons why if you have hooded eyes, you should have a short angle. Let me try saying this the right way. You should not have a high arch for your brows. Having a high arch for your brows here is going to create even more real estate for you to have to fill up over here. We don't want to create more space there. We're trying to minimize the space that we have up here. So try to keep a low arch to your brow, and that will help minimize that space. Now we're going to go with our Jaclyn Hill palette. I'm going to use the same brush, and I'm actually going to pick up this orange shade right here. These don't have names, so that's what I'm working with. I'm going to go again from the outside edge, and I'm just going to take this again right above my natural crease where I can see it, and then on the lower corner of the eye, taking it then on the inside once I've deposited most of the pigment. Some people are like, oh my god, orange? Yeah, orange. It looks beautiful. And we're just going to work. If you have skin that's loose up here, just pull very gently. Make sure it's very gently. And then towards the inside. I'm not that worried about having an angle here. I just wanted to show you. But I'll work with it. And then just check to make sure it's symmetrical. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with this color right here. It's kind of like a, I'm not sure what it is. It's a little bit darker than taupey. It's almost like a brownish orange. And I'm taking this just in the outside corner. I'm not going to take this on the inside at all. I'm working with a lot of colors here because what I'm doing is I'm building up a gradient of color, and then I'm going to blend. Now I'm going to go in with this color here. It's kind of like a reddish brown color, and again on the outside, whoop, got fallout there, again on the outside corner. Now, it looks a little funky because I don't have foundation on. Once the foundation is on, it's going to look a little bit better. If you want to have the sharp angle towards the tail end of the brow, that's great. It can look really stylish if you're going out. Alright, let me fix this up. Okay, so now that we have that area done, we're going to do two more things. The first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to take our Younique, this is our liner and shader brush. It has the shader on one side and then a side for lining. And I'm going to go back to the Morphe palette and I'm going to pick up, this thing is so big, I'm going to pick up this shade right here next to the orange that we used. I wish these had names. And I'm just going to apply that on my mobile lid. Okay. And then I'm going to clean that brush off because I'm going to use it again. And I'm going back into our Younique Moodstruck Addiction Palette number 1. And I'm picking up the shade Sincere. And I'm going to go right above the brow, from about the arch to the outside. This is going to highlight the brow area. And I'm also going to take this on the inside corner. I'm not going to do too much with this right now because I am going to go in and do my foundation, and I'm also going to be highlighting and contouring as well. So that's all I'm going to do for right now. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to do my foundation and do my face, and then I will come back and show you my next steps for the eyes. Hi, so now I'm back and I did the rest of my face real quick. Didn't spend a lot of time on it. I just did it really fast so I could get back to this. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be lining my eyes. Now, a word of advice to you: if you have hooded eyes, you want to be careful about how you're lining them. You don't want to line the entire eye. A lot of people with hooded eyes make the mistake of applying eyeliner from the inside corner of the eye all the way to the outside corner and then back around. If your eyes are really big and you have a lot of openness to your eyes, you can get away with it a little bit more. But if you're like me and your eyes are hooded, especially if they're heavily hooded, it's going to give it a closed-in appearance already, and then you're lining the entire eye. The best thing to do is go from about the center point of your eye outward, and then do the same on the bottom. And then you could smoke it out if you want on the bottom lash line, if you want to give it, a more dramatic appearance. But I would start from the center outward. The other thing that you don't want to do if you have hooded eyes is go with a thick line on the top. The reason why is you have very little mobile lid showing already, and if you're going to line it with thick liner on top, all you're going to show in that mobile lid is the liner. So it's best to go with a thin line on top. Like I said, smoke it out if you want something more dramatic. Go with a color even on the top and smoke it out if you want to have a more dramatic appearance. Or you can do a wing. If you don't have a droop here in the corner like I do, winged liner can be done with a hooded eye. I don't wear winged liner only because of this droop. It's kind of like I would have to go over that little hump. It's almost like a little speed bump. I'd have to go over that little hump to get the rest of the wing. It just doesn't look right. It is not impossible to do winged eyeliner with a hooded eye, but it is a little bit more challenging, and I will do a video on winged liner for you at some point in time. So you want to minimize the amount of liner, and you want to keep it as close to the lash line as possible. So to do this, I'm going to be showing you, again, I'm going to be using the Younique liner and shader brush. I'm going to be using, obviously, the liner side, and I am going to be using Younique Addiction Palette number 3, and I'm going to be picking up the black shade Irate. I'm just going to touch the brush to it. It doesn't need a lot. And I'm just going to very tightly pull. Now my eyesight is not the best, and obviously you can't apply eyeliner with glasses on. So bear with me, because my eyes, if I take one out of commission, I can't see hardly anything out of the other. So bear with me. This is actually quite easy, and it only takes a minute. My eyes are just, don't always cooperate. Just slightly pull, and then from about the center line right into the lash line, just line to the outside corner. You don't have to be perfect, because you can always smoke it out. Going in on the other side, this eye is really bad. My eyesight in this one is really bad. And I'm trying not to lean too far into my mirror, because then you won't be able to see me. So I'm trying to do it with my eye slightly open. So you just want to brush it into the lash line. Stay as close to the lash line as possible. And then you're going to do the same thing on the bottom. I love this liner brush from Younique. It is so easy to work with, and the Younique palettes, the shadow is just so amazing that you literally only need to touch the brush to the shadow and you get this amazing pigment. Again, you'll probably have an easier time doing this than I do. It's just that my eyesight, and because I'm so far from my mirror, makes it a little bit more challenging. Old people problems. I'm 50 already, and I feel like I need reading glasses to put on my eyeliner. It's crazy. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna touch it up. I'm just gonna lean in just for a second so I can see what I'm doing. Make sure you can see me. Okay, and that's it. That's all you need to do. Then I'm gonna go in with this little tiny Real Techniques brush. I love this brush. It's so cute. Isn't it adorable? This is actually called the accent brush, and you can go in with this and then just in your lash line just smoke it out a little bit if that's what you want to do. I like my liner smoky. That's just my personal preference. You can use whatever liner you want. Liquid liner, gel liner. I just find that I like the shadow because, like I said, I have a preference for smoking out my liner, so this works for me. Now what I'm going to do is, back in Addiction Palette 1, I'm going to pick up the shade Chipper, and I'm going to smoke that into the bottom lash line. I'm tying some of the brown color back in with the upper eye. You could use dark brown liner to do your liner. I'm sorry, you could use dark brown shadow to do your liner. I just chose to use black because I knew I was going to smoke it out, and I like the darker color. Again, it's all about preference. So that's the liner. As you can see, the inside corner is still kind of opened up. You can use white liner on the inside corner to open it up even more, but I'm going to go in again in Addiction Palette 1 with Sincere, which is that shimmery shade. And now that my foundation is done, I'm going to add more to the inside corner, and then you can even take it over a little bit more. Just to open that up. Okay? And we already did the brow area underneath the brow. I'm just going to touch that up. Okay. Now I'm going to do my brows. So for my brows, I'm actually going to be using two products. I'm going to be using our Younique brow liner, and I'm going to be using our Younique brow gel. The brow liner is great. On one side you have this really nice little comb, and then on the other side the liner. My brows are actually, I have been blessed with good eyebrows my whole life. So I don't need a lot of work on my brows, but I am getting some sparse areas, and that's what I'm going to be using the liner for. I'm going to take the brush and I'm going to brush upward. This is going to expose, I need to flip my mirror. This is going to expose those sparse areas that I need to fill in. You can just see them better when you brush upward. Now I'm going to go with the liner side, and in short feathered strokes I'm going to fill in those sparse areas. Please do not do one thick line. Your hair does not grow in one thick strand, so you shouldn't line your brows in one thick line. You should mimic the shape of the hairs on your brow by doing short feathered strokes. I'm using the shade Light. You can obviously use the shade that works for you. But this is I would say definitely. This is definitely the best brow liner I have ever used. In fact, I went a really long time without lining my brows because I could not find a brow liner that I liked. They all made me feel like it was too heavy. And this goes on really nice. And now I'm going to take the comb and I'm going to comb it over. My brows are in desperate need of a threading, so they're not in the best of shape. I also have this one little area right here that does not want to cooperate ever. One thing about your brows that you want to remember is they're sisters, they are not twins. Your brows don't naturally look identical to each other, so don't drive yourself nuts trying to make them look identical when you do them. They should be as close as possible, but sometimes the hair on your brows, I'm now using the brow gel, which contains fibers, so it's actually going to add some volume. These are like the same fibers that are in the 3D Fiber Lash Mascara. They're actually going to add some volume to your brows. But anyway, if your brows just naturally grow different from each other, don't spend too much time fighting that, because like I said, sisters, not twins. Get them as close as you possibly can, but if you find yourself spending a half an hour trying to get your brows to look exactly the same, probably not the best use of your time. Okay, so now my brows are done.
So this is the finished look. If you have any questions, please comment below and I'd be happy to answer them for you. Please subscribe to my channel and also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All the links to those will be posted below, as well as all the products I used in the video. Thank you so much for watching.